Hey guys, it's your girl Flexus. Welcome back to Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. Let's see where we left off. To the safe house. I was pleased to not have to force her compliance. Opening the door to the safe house tonight, I was greeted by the most disturbing sight of her drenched and regurgitated blood. Apparently, the bag supply we kept in the fridge was not to her liking. The remark elicits a contemptuous chuckle from one of the gathered guests as they note the remains of the blood on your skirt. It was not an elegant sight, but that hardly matters, I suppose. Moving on. We had a quick chat, but wishing to appear here post haste, I urged her to join me, which she did without a struggle. A pleasant departure from my usual routine, I must say. During her drive here, she showed me her fangs, metaphorically speaking, posturing as if we were equals, insulting me when it didn't work. I refrained from causing her physical harm, but I expect her ego might still be a bit bruised. He looks at you and flashes a nasty smile. The story ends with us arriving at Elysium tonight. All eyes are on you again. You take a special interest in one of the faces. It's a beautiful woman with curly, almost blood-red hair and a dress to match. You see her whispering to some bespectacled man with an absent-minded look on his face. Who is she, you wonder? Thank you, Kadir. I take note of this fledgling's behavior and will take it into consideration later. Is this based off a tabletop RPG? It is! It is! So this is based off of Vampire the Masquerade, which is created by World of Darkness. I believe it's White Wolf? It's like the creator of World of Darkness. So it is a vampire, it's sort of a Dungeons and Dragons meets vampires type deal, except it's more like modern day. It's pretty cool. I like it. Is this like Cthulhu? I'm not sure what Cthulhu is, so I can't say for sure. But think of it similar to like modern day vampires meets Dungeons and Dragons. She turns her attention to you. First, there's the matter of your sire. The person who brought you where Kadir picked you up from last night. Who were they? Sire? Does it matter? A handsome businessman? Let me ask you this first. Why do you keep using that word? Sire. What does it mean? Under regular circumstances, they would be your patron and the one responsible for your introduction into our society. Things being what they are, however, I would very much like to know who they are. Indulge me. You find it impossible to decline her final request. Something in her voice makes you want to please her. You hear yourself speak. An entrepreneur, acquaintance of my boss, I think. Good looking, pale blue eyes and some gray in his hair. Charming, abusive, cold son of a bitch. You stop yourself from saying more, then realize there's really not much more to talk about. A nagging thought enters your mind. How did this prince persuade you with such ease? Well, Kadir, does that sound familiar? No, it does not. Or at least, not familiar enough. I will continue the search after we're done here. That man, he talked to somebody at the restaurant before he left. I can't remember what he said, but he wasn't alone. Maybe that's a lead you can follow. Did he know? That is interesting. I do hope the proprietor won't stay mad at us for losing one of his staff. It's almost like he knows the waiter's fate is still bothering you and takes pleasure in pointing it out. Thank you for that observation. I will investigate it later. What shall I do with the fledgling, my prince? What is your recommendation, my sheriff? The traditions are clear. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou createst another without thine elder's leave, both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. I am ready to fulfill my duty. Stay at your hand for just a moment longer, Kadir. I wish to consult my council on this. Make sure everyone is in agreement. Of course. He seems strangely relieved. Dang. Oh, this dude's gonna hook us up. He's gonna save us. The prince leaves the main showroom, and about 6 people follow her out. You're about to ask this Kadir what all that talk of traditions and councils was, when the red-haired woman approaches the two of you. Sophie. Sheriff, I was wondering if I could have a word with the fledgling. What for? She lowers her voice in response. Come now, Kadir. We all know what the verdict is going to be. Let me speak to them. You might not have to stain your hands tonight after all. Her words grab his attention. His face is hard to read. It's like several emotions are struggling for domination. Anger, sadness, hope, gratitude, resolve. I'll go get my sword. He steps out of the room the way you came, and you are left in the showroom with the woman in the red dress. She takes you aside, and the eyes of the remaining guests follow you. Well then, fledgling, you are in quite the pickle. What was that about a sword? Maybe you'll tell me what the hell this is. What do you mean? Wait, did I hear that right? What did he say about a sword? Your hearing isn't faulty. We only have a short while before the prince hears her counsel out, and Kadir returns here with his blade, so listen, please. Last night, you became a vampire. Just like lays it on her, like, no like, metaphors, no like, build up, just, hey, you're a vampire. Wait, what? Oh yes, I am well aware of how ridiculous that sounds. It's the reason why we have these nicer words for it. Kindred, being embraced, having a sire. The fact remains. The beings called vampires, you're looking at them. They're us. You glance around. Some of the guests are still occasionally looking at you, commenting on you in hushed tones. Many of the patrons are pale. Really pale. Most hold glasses of wine. That ain't wine! This is a better love story than Twilight. No, not wine. That's not the right thickness. And not the right color, either. You're trying to come up with something sensible to say. But you're drawing a blank. It makes a morbid kind of sense. You drank blood last night, there's no denying it. Your breathing hasn't returned, your heart still remains still. A vampire. 2 voices in your head start battling for supremacy. One of them slowly begins to put everything that's happened since yesterday together, coming to a conclusion that no matter how insane it might seem, nothing but what she's saying makes sense. The other voice just keeps saying, "What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?" on repeat. You're surprised. This is often how it plays out by design. Kadir deliberately keeps keeping you in the dark and all. If we do nothing, you will be cut down, as sure as day follows night. But I'm here to offer you a chance, a way out. Under one condition. I will take you under my wing. If you're lucky, the prince will be in a good mood tonight, and Kadir's complaints about your behavior won't influence her judgment. The society values docility. She might agree to this, but only if you swear fealty to me. I just recently watched the third third John Wick, and like there's these scenes where like they go through all the different masters of like the assassin societies, and they're like, you have to pledge fealty to me, or pledge fealty to the circle or whatever and they're like, okay, I pledge fealty, and then they get their hands sliced. I'm not making this offer lightly. As your patron, I will take responsibility for you. Your actions will reflect on me. If they reflect negatively, well, I will make sure you face the consequences. Let's see. What happens if I agree? What if I refuse? How will you convince the prince? I want to know what happens if I agree. Suppose I say yes. What happens then? You survive, hopefully, or not, depending on the prince's whim. I'm giving you a chance, not a guarantee. But if you take me as your patron, I will be your guide in this new reality, and you will assist me like a child would a sire. Steps and hushed voices can be heard from the side room. It seems the prince and her council are returning to the showroom. Kadir appears from downstairs as well and starts walking towards you. This is very interesting artwork. When you hear the verdict, ask to be spared. I will intervene. Remember my condition. She flashes a heart-melting smile towards Kadir, who does not smile back. The sheriff's immaculate suit is now complemented by a curved, oriental-looking metal scabbard, fastened with a colorful sash around his waist. It would look vaguely ridiculous if it wasn't surprisingly intimidating, first and foremost. Kadir takes his place next to you and observes as the prince takes center stage again. Loyal kindred of the New York City Camarilla gathered here tonight. I have made my decision regarding the fledgling. Their behavior since being embraced has not been disagreeable, and that does not bode well for them becoming a valuable member of our society. You are all keenly aware that these nights we need to close our ranks and trust the wisdom of our elders and their traditions more than ever before. As our trusted sheriff pointed out, there can be only one course of action. Although I acknowledge some of my counsel's divergent opinions on this, she takes a look specifically at one of the people who had left the room before, a somewhat plainly dressed, shy-looking man whose skin has a somewhat healthier tone. He bows his head in deference. I hold that the final authority over this fledgling's fate, and I declare that while their embrace might be the sire's responsibility, in their absence it is their progeny that shall be punished. The sentence is final death, to be resolved presently. Kadir? You hear a scraping sound, and see that the sheriff has unsheathed his curved sword. It is a beautifully detailed blade, which you expect must be worth a small fortune. Its apparent sharpness makes you freeze up. Two outs, bottom of the ninth. Oh wow, that's so fucked up. That's so fucked up. 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. Like it's a baseball game. His quiet mumble is audible to nobody but you. As his eyes meet yours, you know just a hint of sadness in his countenance, one that quickly vanishes to give way to grim determination. And he's out to bat. Wow. You will not get another chance to speak up. You make your choice. Spare me, please. Don't make me bed, goddammit. Alright. Prince, if I may ask you to stay the sheriff's hand for a while longer. Kadir looks at the prince, awaiting her response. The sword is still hanging above you, threatening to fall at a moment's notice. Is there something you'd like to say, Miss Langley? Yes, if I may. At first, the prince looks somewhat annoyed at the distraction, but she stays quiet for a while, measuring the mood in the room. The bored elites suddenly look at you with aroused interest, some of them dismayed at not seeing the bloodshed, but all intrigued by the unexpected twist. The prince nods. Well, let's hear it. Sophie takes a few steps forward. All eyes are on her now, but Kadir's heavy hand on your shoulder makes it clear you won't take advantage of the distraction. My prince, While the traditions are clear, I believe that the proper context should be observed in addition to the letter of our laws. This fledgling is a burden, but with proper guidance, they could become an asset to our domain. And I understand you are volunteering to take this unruly child under your protection. Yes, I am willing to give them a chance, and to prove the entire domain that they can adhere to our expectations. I will take nothing less than their full cooperation, naturally. Whispers can be heard again, an incredulous voice or two. A hushed, just behead the fucker. Some suppressed exclamations of surprise. Silence. I ask all of you to make a note of this moment. I might be persuaded to bend one tradition in this child's favor, but another will have to be enforced even more firmly in its stead. Until thy progeny shall be released, thou shalt command them in all things. Their sins are thine to endure. Are you certain that's a responsibility you wish to shoulder, Miss Langley? I am willing to guide them, fledgling, or guide this fledgling, and add a valuable ally to our sect in a time of need, yes. But I would like to receive the right of destruction over them, if it pleases you. It's clear tensions are high. It feels surreal to listen to strangers discussing your death. Or second death, apparently. And keeping silent. You decide it's for the best to let Sophie handle this one alone, and not interject. You have no idea how to handle this eyes wide shut crowd. The prince looks at you, as if weighing your worth. She takes another good measure of the room, before she speaks again. I shall grant what you ask. Let it be known, Sophie Langley, of the Clan of the Rose, will become this fledgling's patron. They shall be considered like sire and child. Miss Langley will take full responsibility for them, and I grant her the right of destruction, if she sees fit to use it. Let my intentions be clear, however. If I am to turn a blind eye to one of our most important traditions on this occasion, I expect it to be beneficial to the Camarilla. Substantially so. I hope you find this verdict satisfactory. Miss Langley? Of course, Prince. Thank you. Very well. She turns to you. What is your name, child? Flexus. Flexus is my name. Flexus, Prince. She nods. Welcome to the Camarilla, Flexus. Now, this evening proved to be even more eventful than I anticipated. But with the fledgling's fate decided, I believe our meeting here can conclude. Thank you all for appearing on such short notice. Give my regards to those who couldn't make it. Kadir, a moment of your time before I let you return to your duties? Of course, Prince. He shoots you a side glance that doesn't leave much space for interpretation. You will be watched. You will be judged. And, if need be, you will be punished. The two of them leave the gallery. Well, Flexus, I think we've both already managed to significantly improve each other's evenings. But let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? I think we should have a toast to a new fruitful partnership. She raises her hand at one of the well-dressed concierge, who have now reappeared in the showroom to refill the guest glasses. The conventionally handsome man approaches with a carafe of red liquid. The memory of throwing up in the safe house is still fresh in your mind, but the idea that it could happen again is enough to reject the drink altogether. But there's no denying you want it. Need it. I remember what Kadir said about your misadventure before getting in the car. Some of us had a more delicate palates than others. Try to take a small sip. S'il vous plaît? S'il vous plaît? S'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît. He pours it into two tall glasses. You can barely wait until he hands you the drink. Your attention is fully on it. The fact that it's blood, you are certain of it. It doesn't faze you this time. It's difficult to take just a sip. Even though the taste is as foul as before, you're tempted to down the whole glass in one go. You wait before taking a second taste. You're glad you did. A feeling like heartburn signals that you can't keep it down. You spit it back inside the glass. Sophie looks on, intrigued. I'm not surprised. New York City cadets have very bourgeois ideas about what good blood should taste like. Well, you just need to keep trying. At Sophie's request, the concierge serves you 3 other variants of blood. The first 2 are as horrible and indigestible as before, both ending up back in the glass within moments of tasting them. Before the 3rd try, you're almost ready to throw the glass at the wall in frustration. But finally, this one's different. Instead of mud and decay, a surprisingly rich bouquet of tastes. You feel blissfully at ease, and Sophie takes notice. Ah, there it is. Jacob, would you kindly let us know who the donor was? Leave the bottle, please. The concierge nods and leaves again. You take another sip and another. You empty the glass. The dull feeling in your stomach and head starts subsiding, but you still want more. Sophie pours you another glass and refills hers. She takes a sip. You have a curiously specific taste, Alexis. Is it the clover notes, the traces of caffeine, or that bittersweet aftertaste of melancholy? You taste nothing of the kind, but it doesn't matter. It's tasty, but not as delicious as it was last night, not as intoxicating. It manages to silence the hunger somewhat, though. Drinking blood puts you at ease. It is a strange realization. The man named Jacob comes back with a small card and leaves it with Sophie. She takes a quick look and passes it on to you. It's somebody's medical details. An office worker, male, Caucasian, 32 years old. Blood type, ABRH positive. Blue eyes, brown hair. No history of substance abuse. New Jersey native. Might one of these details be what makes the difference? Now that we have picked the right bouquet of your palate, these documents should be useful in identifying your exact taste, should they be ORH positive or Joyzy boys. Joyzy boys. But I believe you have more questions, no? Perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance. Where do you get blood? How will I know what I can drink? And how much do I have to drink? How much do I have to drink? Where do I get blood? It's kind of weird that you have waiters serving blood. Where do you get it from? That can be a bit of a touchy subject. Let's just say the most of the blood available at events like this is crowdfunded. Did I get that right? It's hard to keep track of modern language. At any rate, what I mean is that there's a plethora of vessels on tap. As for where to get blood when you're not in Elysium, tomorrow I shall take you hunting and we will explore this topic further. What you need to know right now is that no matter how much you drink, you will always be tempted to have more. Unless you consume someone holy, to the last draw. But even that doesn't last. Like Jersey? Yeah. Joyzy boys. Best start by taking a simple sip from a vessel. Be prudent. Hot, fresh blood is more satiating than most anything that can be served in a fancy glass. But it can make you more voracious. Welcome Super Dude Guy to the stream. Glad to see people are still awake and watching. As for how much you should have, it depends. If you're frugal, you can survive many nights without a single drink. But it's risky, and it will tempt the beast that is part of our curse. The beast that you mentioned, is that a metaphor, or... Oh, it's quite real, although not in a strictly physical sense. It lives in us all. Oh, it lives in all of us. Our nature and hunger manifest. Those more religious among us connected to the biblical Cain, the rage of the first murderer, cursed by God, seething in all his descendants. I, however, am a child of the Enlightenment. Not that it makes my struggle any easier. I have to be wary like every other kindred in the city and beyond. Individual kindred... Excuse me. Anyway, individual kindred each have a unique relationship to their beasts. What yours is going to be remains to be seen. But you do need to keep it under control. Each outburst endangers not just you, but also the Masquerade. The concierge returns, asks for permission to intrude, which Sophie gives with a polite smile, and leans in to whisper in her ear. You note the gallery is almost empty. Is now almost empty. I am being told the gallery is just about to close, but we'll still have quite a lot to discuss. We'll go to one of my apartments. My jalopy is waiting downstairs. Come. The smile she puts on could tip any negotiation towards her favor. Her words are like honey, and she makes it impossible to take your eyes off her. You're under her spell, momentarily. Sophie leads you to a luxurious silver Rolls Royce and invites you to sit in the back. We're always sitting in the back seat. Why can't we sit in the front seat? The chauffeur, a broad-shouldered, clean-shaven, middle-aged guy, starts driving immediately. Look, she's staring at us now. Where did we leave off? Ah, I believe I started telling you a bit more about our customs. You heard the prince refer to our traditions. The chief among them is the Masquerade. As you might have gathered... Excuse me, I keep yawning. Oh, how rude of me. Sorry, guys. Where was I? As you might have gathered from us assembling at a niche gallery after closing time, our comings, goings, and doings tend to be somewhat secretive. We do not advertise our existence. We allow myths and modern fiction to mourn and muddle the facts. So to the vast majority of kind, we remain bedtime stories and pop culture icons. Say, is that one television show about a vampire angel still popular? You shake your head in confusion. She shrugs and continues talking. Excuse me. She shrugs and continues talking, looking a bit more dejected than before. Our clandestine ways help us remain safe, allow us to explain away the occasional trip up to the rational minds of 21st century humanity, and dictate much of our interactions with mortals. What's the risk? Is your driver a vampire too? Wait, what about my career then? So what you're saying is, who I become must remain a secret. What about my job then? My career? Is it over? Just like that? Wait, is that an actual show? The what she was referring to? Is that an actual show? Not necessarily, but you will need to step lightly. It goes without saying that you will need an explanation of your disappearance. And it will be a few more nights before I let you go it alone. You might be one of the kindred now, but that comes with some caveats. For one, sunlight burns us. That's why we rest during the day. You felt it. More like being dead than being dormant, isn't it? Some more folk-related threats are just legends, or, occasionally, a minor nuisance. Garlic, running water, even religious symbols don't repel us, unless the wielder is uniquely pure and godly. Yes, it is a spin-off of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Oh, dang! I'll have to check it out. Starring David Boreanaz? I think that's how you pronounce it. Boreanaz? Stakes through the heart, though. That's something to avoid. They do not destroy, but they do paralyze, which under the right circumstances can often be the same thing. That's a reason to have somebody like my trusted driver, Gregory, making sure you're safe when you drift away. We have many enemies, and they often know their advantage lies with daylight. How can I trust your driver? So it's good to keep human friends. Do vampires watch each other's backs? Am I right in thinking that having a human friend or two is necessary then? Or at least useful? In moderation. And best if they don't know your true nature. Also, I would say that subordinates are useful. But friends? I haven't had one of those for many years now. Our little sect supplies social interactions aplenty, but it doesn't really encourage friendships. Alliances of convenience, to be broken at a whim? Yes, that's more like it. Hey, welcome Lionsire. Welcome to the stream. Good to have you in here. Long-term solidarity does occur in the Camarilla, but we are a very politicized organization by necessity. Loyalty is to your sire, to your prince, and to the sect. Friends must remain a distant priority at best for us, to maintain the masquerade and thrive as the years pass. With age comes authority, and with it comes influence and power, if you wish to reach for them. She seems to be lost in thought, and falls silent for a while, leaving you to ponder all the things you've learned tonight. It still feels absolutely unreal, but as a piece after piece of knowledge falls into place, the image becomes almost like an entirely logical jigsaw puzzle. Whatever you wouldn't believe on your own, you've witnessed. Many questions swarm your thoughts, but the one you keep returning to is what your place in this new reality should be. The car stops. You're in the city, in front of a well-renovated apartment building. We're here. Would you like to see lodgings? My own apartment? Neat. Is there another parking lot room? Do I get a loyal servant? I'll just say parking lot room. Is it another drab safe room in an underground parking lot? For my safety and all that? Don't be ridiculous. You're not a Silas fledgling in Kadir's stone grasp anymore. And even he wouldn't hold you up there any longer than necessary, I think. Come upstairs. She leads you through a small hall with a night guard who greets Miss Langley with a good evening, and you take the stairs up to the second floor. Sophie opens the door to room 209. Inside are all the amenities you could expect from a modern apartment, and some you wouldn't have deemed necessary just the previous night, including thick blinds on all the windows. The back room has a comfortable-looking bed and a thick steel door with several sturdy-looking locks, but no windows. Hey, welcome DMG 100. Long time no see in the stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have you in here. Well, how do you like it? This is great, thank you. What, can I choose another? What a brat. Well enough, I guess. This is great. Thank you. I'm glad. Make yourself at home. Tomorrow, I will take you hunting and discuss the blood in more detail. Yeah, it's been a while. How have you been? I've been good. Busy between streaming and work. Very excited that Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York has come out. So that's what I'm playing for everybody this evening. How have you been? I hope you've been well. I hope your streams have been going well. How's Fortnite been? I know you've been playing Fortnite quite a bit. And for those who don't know, DMG, super sick Fortnite player, has a great stream, so go give him some love and support as well. I'll let you get comfortable. The keys are by the television set. I will come pick you up tomorrow night. Use the back room for rest. You can lock the doors, just in case. It stings a bit when she leaves. It's like the room suddenly became a few shades dimmer. Aww, we like our new friend. You inspect the kitchen, hoping to find something to drink. Nothing. No regular food either. Feels strange that Katir could be a more thoughtful host than your new sire, even if only in that respect. You briefly wonder if the sheriff might have a hidden side. I've been doing alright. I actually haven't been streaming as much. I got into making overlays for other streamers. Oh, that's sick! Nice! Nice! With nothing left to do, you lie on the couch with the TV playing in the background for company. Columbo reruns. Kojak reruns. President of the United States got himself into serious trouble again. President of the United States got out of trouble again. Pundits start yelling over each other about how things that seemed a little bit less insignificant just 2 days ago. You start drifting off, reflecting about another night of confusing conversations and worldview-shattering revelations. And thanks for the shout-out. But I've been playing a whole bunch of Overwatch, Rainbow Six, and other random games. But read the game. I'll be listening. It's soothing. Oh, good. I'm glad. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm having a blast so far. I think it's very atmospheric, and the characters are very enjoyable so far. So I'm looking forward to seeing where the story turns. How many more before you finally understand what happened to you and what you're supposed to do now? You keep coming back to the life you left behind, the people you should contact, the things you want to pick up from your apartment. You wonder when you'll have the chance for either. As you start to feel the same tiredness that made you drift into a cold sleep last night, you settle into the back room. The bed is comforting. The lack of windows, less so. I don't know, for me, so I sleep with blackout curtains, so I don't think I'd mind lack of windows. As long as it was nice and cold in there. You leave the light bulb on. Looking at it, you realize it's the closest you'll ever come to staring at the sun on a breezy summer day. A wave of melancholy overwhelms you. A few minutes later, your consciousness fades, and you take the plunge into darkness again. Sinking, 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 sinking. I guess we just rest. I guess we don't have any other choice. I mean, do we new? I guess this is all the things, our new definitions. I guess this is a good opportunity for us to do a commercial break. It's just a quick minute, 60-second ad. So stick around. This helps support the channel too, so please, please, please stick around just for a minute. Commercial break. I'll step away so I can grab some water, and then we will continue the adventure. Alrighty, we're back. Click the rest, see what happens. Tutorial! Hunger lies at the heart of a vampire's existence. To ignore it is to tempt the beast to take over your actions, and its desire to feed. To overindulge in feeding may threaten the masquerade, as well as staining what humanity you have left. In Coteries of New York, having high hunger is indicated by a progressively bigger bloody frame around the screen, like the one you see now. As your hunger grows, so does this indicator. Your hunger may increase when you call upon your vampiric powers, or when you need to mend your wounds after a fight. I'm curious how the combat's going to be in this game. When your hunger reaches the maximum amount, you will receive a warning after you complete a piece of the story. Ignore it at your own peril. Some choices might only be visible if your hunger is high enough. Similarly, a high hunger may block off some choices, as you will be able to see after pressing continue. Blocked off option or continue. So, can't do anything there. To decrease hunger, you'll need to feed. Whenever you see a feeding opportunity, you can take the risk to hunt and slake your hunger. You will need to keep the hunger at bay if you're to uphold the masquerade and survive the nights that await you. Alright, we had a good solid nap. It seems like our days are short because we have to work the nighttime. You open your eyes. The bed isn't warm. The room is filled with artificial light from the ceiling. The solid metal door is closed. Normally, you'd stretch for a bit. On some mornings, you'd probably throw the quilt over yourself and snooze a moment longer. But that was before. The way you woke up now, you're fully conscious. No grogginess, nothing weighing you down, just the nagging need in the back of your head. Hunger. Not as severe as the last time, but unmistakably there. You get up and open the door to the main room. A digital clock on the TV shows you the time, 9:04 p.m. You walk over to the blinds and retract them cautiously. The only light coming in is New York City's artificial nighttime luminescence. So that's what your waking hours are going to look like now. You missed the sunlight already. I need you to read everything I ever play to me from here on out. You know, it's funny, as a lot of people have been saying that now. I'm gonna try really hard to like give everybody voices and like read it well and stuff like that, because it's a very dialogue heavy game. So you're seriously considering just walking out of the apartment and figuring this all out by yourself. But then you come back to the memory of Kadir's exotic sword being raised in the gallery. Make sure you take care of your voice if you do. Yeah, I'm gonna be sipping on some tea with some honey to make sure my voice doesn't get too exasperated. And I'm in Minecraft right now, so the sound of you and this music makes it so real. Aw. Super dude guy, that emo is so freaking cute. Where did you get that? Oh, that's Jeff's emo? Oh my goodness. It is way too cute. I can't handle it. I might have to go resub to Jeff just for that. How do I get rid of this? Here, we're gonna put that. There we go. That is so cute. Oh, by the way, real quick, you guys. I am gonna be having 2 new emotes coming out very, very soon. I'm super excited. I don't want to spoil it, but they are very funny and very neat. So just a heads up. Alrighty. Maybe sticking around isn't that bad of an idea after all. You keep jumping channels for around half an hour, and then switch to streaming services. Almost as if the universe had a sense of irony, you catch True Blood. and the flood of recommendations. Why don't I take like a shower or something? I've got like a bloody outfit on, like from the night before. Like you'd think I'd change my clothes and like freshen up. The doorbell rings. It's Sophie. Good evening, Flexus. Slept well? Like a baby? Like a dead man? It's not exactly sleep, right? It's not exactly normal sleep, is it? I suppose it isn't. Some say it's more like being dead. But we wouldn't know, would we? It's no use reflecting on it anyway. Except that this is who you are now. You made the right choice yesterday. I can teach you many things about yourself. Your blood, its desires, and its power. We will begin tonight. You're hungry, yes? I'm sure you are. Our kind always is. There is one remedy. The blood. The drinks we had yesterday at Elysium are not the usual way you slake your thirst. So, tonight I will assist you in your first foray into hunting. You need to learn to sense the kind of blood you desire, to understand how you can use the kinds of vulnerabilities to your advantage. No more freebies! I'm ready to learn predator and prey, huh? Grim. So let me get this straight. We're predators, humans are prey. That's pretty grim. I know what you feel. I remember the notion. But you will, inevitably, grow beyond it. You need more blood, or you need blood to thrive, but there are many ways to take it, some more humane than others. You will find that drinking moderate amounts of it regularly will keep the hunger and the whispers of the beast away. You might think yourself monstrous, but there is a balance to be found here. The kiss gives a kind pleasure. You might remember this from your own embrace. Some can even become addicted to the sensation. But, if you do it right, they tend to misremember your feeding. After all, vampires do not exist. They're myths, fairy tales, and pop culture mainstays. Correct. She gives you a sly, knowing smile. That is why the Masquerade is so important. And even more crucial when you feed. How do you avoid being seen? How do you cover your tracks? I want to know how to cover my tracks. Biting people leaves marks, right? And the victims remember your face. You shouldn't concern yourself with leaving marks. These are easy to conceal. You just need to bite carefully and then lick the punctures closed. That's all there is to it. As for being remembered, like I mentioned, the kiss is an ecstatic experience, so kind can barely recall the details. And even when they do, the city's enormous. You could spend days on the streets and not see the same face twice. Use that to your advantage. Feeding from the same area repeatedly can be dangerous, but by branching out, you risk the ire of other kindred on whose domains you trespass. Lucky for you, New York City is more forgiving in this regard. New York is in somewhat of a unique position. Many of its neighborhoods remain contested or unclaimed. The reason for this is a lesson for another time, but keep the following in mind. Take opportunities to feed when they present themselves these upcoming nights. As long as you hunt cautiously and respect the Masquerade at all times, you should be fine. To wit. Oh, Lionzire, thank you for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You can now use that ugly Chun-Li to your heart's content. So have fun. There you go. Es bueno. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You, like I said, you guys are gonna get some new emotes soon too, so all my current subs and my future subs will, get to have some fun with some new emotes. I'm excited and looking forward to it. Street Fighter? Yep. I'm normally a Street Fighter, player. so. Alrighty, where were we? To wit, I want you to join me for a trip tonight. Come downstairs. Gregory is waiting for us. The busy streets fill the air with traffic noise, pedestrian chatter, and a mix of smells that disorient you momentarily. These warm bodies contain what you want, what you need. It's been a minute since you streamed, huh? Yeah, it's been a little while. I've been streaming, like, inconsistently just with the holidays and work and stuff like that. You can still find me streaming on occasion. I did stream Street Fighter a couple days ago, and I'll be streaming a lot more now, now that I've taken a brief break. But yeah, I've been well. How have you been? I hope you've been well as well. So, how's life been treating you? How have the holidays been for you? You catch yourself. Did you really just think of these people as mere sources of blood? It takes a nudge from Sophie to break your train of thought. Her driver opens the door for her, and then tips his hat to you, gesturing to the back of the car. The car casually joins the somewhat thin New York traffic. It's still busy in a way only one of the biggest cities in the world can be, but compared to the daytime commute, it's a pleasant drive. Okay, jobs are good, holidays awesome, allergies can piss off. I can totally agree with all of those statements. Especially the allergies part. It's been a bit of a disaster. Well, so I live in Arizona and the weather's been kind of wonky and crazy here. So it's been a little bit of a disaster per se, having to deal with it. But anyway, where were we? You barely have the time to gather your thoughts and formulate new questions before the car comes to a stop. My lungs have been feeling it. Oh, I feel it. I'm an AZ too, nerd. You don't remember me, do you? I vaguely remember people. I'm good at remembering faces, but names, not so much. Names are, like, the worst for me, and I always feel bad because I always forget, like, people's names all the time. But, like, I'll see a face and I'll recognize it. Alright, where was I? You're among the tall skyscrapers that make up Manhattan's iconic skyline. Come, Lexus. Park the car, Gregory, will you? The driver just nods, and Sophie gets out. You join her, and the two of you walk through the glass doors together, then take the elevator up. You first notice an empty stage, with the instruments of a string quartet still in the back. Then take in the few dozen chairs in front of it. The concert seems concluded. The patrons, all smartly dressed and posh, have spread out all over the hall. Sophie strides confidently inside, produces an invitation from her purse that she flashes in front of a security guard. You follow close and are let through without issue. Let's start easy. A social setting like this one would usually prove quite challenging to an inexperienced kindred. But consider this evening a small gift from your patron. I'm hoping to procure for you a willing vessel. Just remember what I told you about taking small sips. This one I have a soft spot for. Don't damage her. Now, let's see here. Ah, here he is. Oh, there he is. She notices somebody in the crowd, flashes a heart-melting smile, and suddenly even you feel drawn to her. You haven't thought about it before, but it's laid clear before you in this moment. Sophie is beautiful. Just looking at her is a privilege. Just being with her makes you feel elated. Everybody in the crowd, but especially the man who almost tripping over himself to reach her, clearly agrees. Edgar, I'm so happy to see you. How is your daughter? Is she with you? Oh, there she is. Julie, my girl, come over, please. There's somebody I'd like you to meet. The young woman who walks across the hall can't be more than 19 years old. It's clear from her mismatched earrings and the partially faded purple hair dye that she doesn't fit this crowd. Julie, this is Flexus. Me. I think the two of you should get acquainted while I talk business with your dad. Awfully boring stuff, I assure you. I'm positive you'll like each other. The girl gives you a shy smile and nods toward the balcony stairs. You follow, somewhat unsure what it is exactly Sophie expects you to do. You reach a secluded space from which the entire lobby is visible. All eyes are on Sophie. They listen intently, then laugh when she does. Julie saves you the trouble of figuring out the next step. If you're with Sophie, then I guess you're, I mean that you know. Oh, she's cute! Look at her little cat tattoo. She's a cutie. Aww, her little, like, buns and stuff like that. She's like a total, like, goth kid. You can tell, like, the cross earring and everything. Bless. She puts her wrist to her lips and gives herself a theatrical nip, then looks to you embarrassed, but also hopeful. What, you're into that sort of thing? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I do. Hey, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh, you don't? She's clearly befuddled and unsure how to continue. She backs out of the topic and asks you about your favorite bands. You have the feeling she's waiting for you to do something. As you talk, she takes off her jacket, although the building isn't warm, unbuttons her sleeve and rolls it up. You see a tattoo of a cat in an astronaut suit, one feline eye winking at you. It's subtle, or at least she thinks it is, but the way she caresses her forearm is a dead giveaway. She's testing you. Can it be that she wants to be bitten? Do I not drink from Julie, or do I drink from Julie? I feel like this is kind of a public place to do it. The temptation is definitely there, but you can't make yourself do it. She's barely more than a kid. So what if she seems to want it? This is wrong. This is all fucking wrong. She sees your hesitation, but keeps staring at you with some pleading eyes. You've seen this look before, in some documentary flick. Or maybe even on somebody's face. This is a junkie, begging for a fix. She breaks into tears, starts shaking. Dejected, she wraps her arms around herself and stops walking down the stairs, back to the main hall. You stop her. She looks at you through the tears. You make a motion to take her forearm to your mouth. She whispers to you, "Thank you." You take her forearm in your hands. A quick look around confirms nobody's watching, and no security cameras cover this area. You bite down gently. It's surreal. She's just given you her blood of her own volition. How is this possible? What about the masquerade? You need to ask Sophie. Your thoughts disappear amid the bliss. There's just the taste. Sweet. Fresh. Sanguine. You drink. And drink. And drink. No, stop. Stop. Stop! You tear away from the girl harder than you wanted. Still, the bite leaves just tiny punctures. Almost as if by instinct, you lick them clean, and the two holes become concealed. Just like that. Julie's now leaning on the wall, pale, wobbly on her feet, but happy? She lets out a dreamy sigh, opens her eyes. A few tears fall onto her shirt. Tears of joy. Thank you. Please, can you walk me downstairs, please? My dad, he doesn't know. Thinks it's a condition. Miss Langley told him so. She leans on you and requests you walk her over to a bench. She takes a seat and smiles at you.